What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video your girl is going to just put on makeup. Originally I thought this was going to be new makeup, but I don't have as much new makeup in the different categories as I thought I did, and yeah, it is what it is. I created this look. I had a lot of fun. I used an older palette that I hadn't used in a minute, and now I'm itching to do probably a 3 looks 1 palette with this palette, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're interested in seeing how I created this look and what products I used, all the products should be linked and listed down below. But if you want to actually see me apply them and all that jazz, then just keep watching. Hey guys, so like I said in the intro, I am just going to be using a combination of products. You know what? This is what we're going to do. This is going to be a full face of new makeup. That's what it's going to be. It's not going to be a full-on full face, but I have a lot of new makeup. So I want to get testing on that, and I've taken a couple days off from putting makeup on, so we're going to get right back into it. What I'm going to do is find my primer. I'm gonna go ahead and put on an old primer, and this is my Tatcha Silk Canvas. I will have everything listed and linked down below if I can. I noticed lately that some products that are like my holy grail or like my go-tos are no longer available, which is crazy. So because of that, I can't link everything, but I will try my best to link as much as possible down below. I hope that doing that really helps you guys. I feel like it does if you're like interested in the product. But yeah, I'm just gonna rub this silk canvas in really quickly. And while that sets, I'm going to go ahead and wet my sponge, because I've just really been enjoying sponging, using sponges for applying my foundation and everything. And so yeah, we're gonna go wet the sponge and then I'll be right back. Alrighty, so my sponge is nice and wet. And what I'm gonna do is go ahead and apply my foundation. I haven't bought a single foundation in minimum a year, probably more, and I'm also working on a couple foundations, so we're just gonna apply those. My 470 Fenty, it's gotten so low that I can't actually pump the product out anymore, so I have to open up the top, and that's how I get the product. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this throughout my face. And I try and do a nice kind of thinnish layer. So yeah. And if you're wondering, yes, my like chest right here is a different shade than like the rest of my body. It's been an interesting summer, okay? And I'm already starting to lose my tan, so I'm trying to really finesse getting the use out of this foundation that I can. I'm hoping, praying that I can get through this, but whatever I don't finish this summer, it's just going to be a wrap on that product. Anyways, now I'm going ahead in with my Photo Focus concealer. I don't have very many concealers. Oh, I do have a concealer I could have used. Oh well, I didn't think about it. Here, I'll use it in a different part of my face. Well, maybe I'll use it in conjunction. I'm not used to getting new concealers, but I forgot I did get one. So it's the Juvia's Place Concealer in 6. I got this, and this is pretty deep, guys. This is pretty much like my foundation shade. So definitely keep that in mind. If you are trying to figure out your shade, I definitely need to go like a significant amount of shades lighter than 6, but this is where I'm at. And that'll also help make sure the concealer isn't too light. So it's not a bad thing. From what I can tell with that concealer, it's pretty full coverage. I'm not the biggest fan of full coverage, and it also seems to be kind of a satiny matte finish, which I prefer that over just a hardcore matte finish. So it's not terrible, but it's not the best. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and take my sponge. I'm gonna go into the powder that I'm kind of low-key panning, which is my Coty Airspun powder, and I'm just going to pick up some powder and press that into the areas where I highlight. I feel like using this technique with my sponge helps the powder to really get into my skin, and it also just doesn't make the difference. It doesn't make it so harsh, the highlight. And I've been noticing lately that my highlight has been harsh, probably because one, I've been using that really dark Fenty foundation and I don't have like a equivalent concealer, but also just because I've been using a brush. So I've been using this technique on and off, and I actually really do enjoy it. Now, just to make sure I'm really set, I go into the other shade that I'm panning powder wise, which is from my KVD Beauty Shade and Light palette. This is the darkest contour shade, and I use that to set my face. Alrighty. We're doing good things. So let's see what else I have that is new. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and go into a new bronzer because my face is pretty set. And what I'm gonna do, I need to just find my towel. There it is. This towel really needs prayer and a wash, but until then, we're just gonna keep dirtying her up. I just wanted to clean off some of the really XX product, and I'm gonna go into this new bronzer. This is the Nabla Skin Bronzing in Profile, and I haven't tried this bronzer yet, and I haven't tried a brush, so let's see if this brush picks it up. I definitely can see it on my skin. It's just, it's extremely faint. I doubt you guys can see anything, which doesn't surprise me. I find that with my summer shade, my bronzers don't necessarily show up, which is disappointing. I guess I will say that the one kind of good thing, depending on how you like your bronzer, it's not a red toned bronzer, so you're not gonna get overly like sun-kissed. You're just gonna get a subtle kind of brownie shade. So yeah, I definitely will be trying this a couple more times before I'm like final with those thoughts, but not bad. Now for blush, what am I gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do blush wise because I want my blush to match my eyeshadow, and I don't know what I'm gonna do eyeshadow wise. So what I'm gonna do is just zoom us in really quickly. Alrighty, so zoomed in, and now we're gonna do my brows. I almost never do my brows on camera, so let's just do it. And I have been really working on completely panning my Wet n Wild Ultimate Kit brow kit in ash brown. I've even been using the wax they provide in this palette. So yeah, we're just gonna work on getting that wax through my brow hairs and really just working that together, I need to find a mirror. Okay, found one. This is a dirty mirror though. Okay. And then what I do is I go into the dark shade and I just sculpt out the back of my brow. And I do the same thing up top. I don't go all the way to the front with the darkest shade because I find that that'll make the brow look a little too harsh and a little too kind of fake and makeuped on, you know what I mean? So I just try and focus the darker shade kind of towards the back where the more defined part of my brow is. This brow is definitely not as filled out and as structured as my other brow, so I always have a little bit of difficulties here, but it's all good. Okay, so after I've done that, which clearly I have, then I take the lighter brown and I work that into the front of my brow. And because I still have some of the product for the darker shade, it kind of just does a mix of those two shades, which I think creates a really nice beginning part of my brow. And you can see how clearly you can see the front of my brow, but it's not like overly defined. And that's how I like my brows to be. I didn't go ahead and just clean up and just run through one more time just to make sure product isn't stuck in any area or anything like that. And that's how I do. And that's how I do my brows. Now, lately, in addition to doing that, I have also been sculpting out my brows with my MAC paint pot, and I've been using the shade Groundwork. I think that this works decent. I use just a nice thick flat brush and I just go. Now what I do when it comes to sculpting, I need the mirror again. I stick once again in that same area where the darker shade that I put in my brow is. I try not to go too harshly in the front, just because I've seen that in some of my pictures you can see it more clearly doing that. So I try and just stick to this part of my brow and I'll blend it out with my finger, with my sponge, with the brush. It just kind of depends. Now I know some people actually use this primer as, or use this base as a primer. I've actually never done that. So actually, let's go ahead. This is a first impressions or new makeup, whatever. So let's go ahead and we're gonna try it. I've literally never used this base as an eyeshadow primer, so this is gonna be interesting. I've also never used this brush to lay down eyeshadow primer. So all new first. Can't be too bad. People love these paint pots for primer. I will say it feels thick and dry. It does not feel sticky, which isn't a bad thing. I like a sticky primer, but not overly sticky. So we'll see. We'll see. So that is done. I think it doesn't look half bad. I'm not going to set it. I think I want this base to be a little bit more loosey-goosey. So now for my palette that I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using my Beautywide Seasons palette. This used to be my favorite palette in my collection. It's no longer my favorite, but I still enjoy it immensely. And I just want to play. I'm just going to play. So let us see what comes of this look. I have some like favorite colors and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. So I think first what I'm going to go into is go into this like mustardy orangey shade, and that is going to go in the inner part of my eye. this is, hold on, I'm just gonna move closer. It'll help you guys. You guys can see better and I can see better through my mirror. So and I'm just using a ColourPop, I think this is their E9 brush, and I'm just packing this like mustardy yellow right in the beginning portion of my crease. And we're just gonna take our time and blend. I really haven't used this palette in a really long time, but I really did enjoy the formula and the colors still speak to me. I still want to do some fun color combinations. Rosé. Oh my gosh, this little nightstand is a mess. Okay. So I just used my color switch just to clean that off. And next I'm gonna go ahead and go into this really nice like corally pinky shade, and that is going to be next in my crease. And now we're just gonna work on blending, taking our time, slow windshield wipers. And that yellow definitely has a distinct green undertone to it. I don't think I've ever noticed that. It's turning out interesting so far. Alrighty, now we need an outer V shade, and I think what I'm gonna do is go into this burgundy shade. I've been eyeing that shade, so I think I'm gonna go into that. And I'm just using, once again, that same E9 brush from ColourPop. Okay, now I need to use a little bit more of that pinky shade just to blend in between. And I'm just gonna keep working on my blending until I'm happy. And now I'm just gonna take that purpley shade, and she's gonna go on the bottom, outer bottom of my lower lash line. And we'll work on blending a little bit more even in a second. Okay, so this is looking crazy. I'm gonna try and kind of bring it together now. And what I want to do is actually go ahead and go into this kind of poopy greeny brownie shade. I've been eyeing that shade, so I'm gonna go ahead and go into that, and that is going to be my outer V shade. I can see this poopy brownie shade combination with that yellow shade, two shadow look. Oh, that would be a divine look right there. I need to play with this palette a little bit more. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring that shade all throughout my actual crease and just slowly blend it up into my transition colors. And sorry, I'm just taking that same green and just connecting it to my lower lash line just a little bit. And of course, just working on my blend into my crease. Okay, I think my matte shades, I think I did an awesome job matte shades wise today. As for my lid shade or shades, I haven't decided yet. I need to find a brush. And this happens to be a crown brush, and I have quite a bit of shimmery metallic shades that I can use today. Which one am I gonna go for? I want to reach for this, but that's because I always reach for her. We're gonna reach for her. We're gonna do it. And we'll see how I like the look. Wow, I like this. I like this a lot. Hopefully you guys can see what's going on. I'm thinking this is looking good. I keep looking at my palette like it has a mirror. It doesn't. So now I need to do my inner corner highlight, and I also don't have anything on the front half of my lower lash line. So inner corner highlight wise, I'm gonna go into this shade right here. It's like a really light gold, not gold, but more of a green with like a white kind of situation to it. Very nice color right there. I actually really enjoy that. And then for the inner part of my lower lash line, I think I'm going to add a splash, and I'm going to go into this seafoamy greenish color situation. Oh dear Lord. Okay. I need to get whatever's in my eye out of my eye. I also just need to do a little bit of blend work. I'm also going to do some eyeliner, mascara, and then I will be right back. Okay, just while I'm zoomed in, I just want to really show you guys my look. Okay, so after my look, which I am liking heavily right now, I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm gonna go ahead and use my cloud paint. So I've already used one of my cloud paints, but I just haven't tried this shade, and this is in the shade Storm. I think it's gonna work maybe possibly to tie in my outer V crease color situation. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Okay, let me shake this up really quickly because it's definitely not giving me the payoff that the other one did. And I just want to, this is definitely the first time that I've tried this shade. My other shade was a lot more pigmented and it showed up more. Yeah, it's not really doing much. I mean, I can see a little something, but like in the grand scheme of things, like the other cloud paint that I have, I don't even need to apply a blush on top because it pops. But this one, it just ain't doing it for me. Y'all know how I am with blush. So sorry. I realize now that this blush is no longer being sold, but what had happened was this is a Project Pan blush, so we finna get our use out of it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and set it with my Laura Geller Plumberry blush. And this is my Smashbox buildable cheek brush, in case you're wondering. This is my favorite blush brush because as it says, it really, you can just build your cheeks slowly with this brush. And you guys know I'm a huge fan of blush draping, so we just gonna really get her together, blend her out, good to go. Next, I don't have any new highlighters. Not that I would want to work with this cheek combination, so we are gonna go with Old Faithful, which is my Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy blush highlighter, and the shade is in Stop and Smell the Rosé. This once again is a Project Pan item, and I do just go in with my buildable cheek on my actual cheeks because I want a little bit of glisten to kind of be combined in that whole kit and caboodle. Then I take a highlighter brush, or just a brush that I'm using as highlighter brush for that moment, and I hit all the high points. And that's pretty much it. Now the only thing I have to do is put on my raw lipstick and spray. For my lipstick, I already know what I'm gonna get. Just give me a second. I wanted to match with the kind of greeny brown crease color that I have, so I went ahead and reached for my matte Consensual lipstick. This is available. And this is a part of their like nude lipstick range. And this has a pretty strong yellow, greeny undertone. Whew. So in the grand scheme of things, how many new products did I really use? Not many. But I'm still happy with the amount of products that I used. I'm just gonna run through the new ones. The old ones are old and faithfuls, guys, so you guys know how I feel about them. The Juvia's Place concealer in 6, I think it's a perfectly fine concealer. It's just too dark. I can only use it during the summer, so if I want to, I'm gonna need to get a lighter shade. But during the rest of the year, other than summer, I intend to use this actually as a cream bronzer. I think it's going to work beautifully as that. So yeah. So yeah, I look forward to that. For my next new product, I think was my Nabla Bronzer in Profile. I think this is a okay bronzer as of right now. It didn't really do too much to my foundation and really bring any warmth or anything like that to this foundation shade. That being said, like I said, this is my summer shade in 470 Fenty wise, so it's pretty deep, but I will continue to test this out. I would love to see Nabla come out with more shades, as with almost all of the bronzers that I have in my possession, because I don't like the fact that and I feel like I'm pretty medium deep skin toned wise. I don't like the fact that I have the ability to wear a lot of brands' darker bronzer. So yeah, and then I think the only kind of other new product that I used, which wasn't really a new product, was the MAC paint pot. I've never used it as a actual eyeshadow base. I think it worked fine, actually almost pretty better than fine. So yeah, I guess this wasn't a new full face of new makeup or first impressions or anything. This was more just me putting makeup on. Sorry, not sorry. I like the look. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And